Hi, Marina. What are you doing? What is that?
That is a teddy bear because I have just spent the day with my grandkids.
Oh, how lovely.
It's very lovely because did you know, Adrienne, that grandparents who hang out with their grandkids live longer than those who do not?
What? I know. How does that make any sense? What are you talking about?
Well, according to a very extensive study based out of Berlin, where they interviewed over 500 people, they found that grandparents who had an active role in caring for their grandchildren, basically helping out, doing occasional babysitting, actually lived a third longer than those that did not.
That means you and I are going to live to 100.
Yay! I got three grandkids, so I got that. That's like, does that work as a multiplication?
I don't know if it works as multiplication, but that's a good point. I mean, let's think about it. When we interact with the kids, it makes you feel younger. For one, it reduces all sorts of stress. I mean, for speaking from personal experience, my stress disappears because I think about interacting with them, having fun, enjoying life.
Well, there's a number of benefits we get. Some of the researchers are saying that purpose, and I think they found that also in the blue zone, is that people who had purpose, people who felt like they were contributing, actually lived longer. So this translates, of course, to our grandkids and being able to share stories, like tell stories about our past and our grandparents. It's very different from being a parent to a child. Being a grandparent to a grandchild is a completely different relationship. And honestly, Adrian, I'm going to tell you frankly, if I had known how fun grandkids were, I would have had more than just one son.
But yeah, grandkids are fun, right? But not as a primary caregiver, as a grandparent, because you can step back and you can relax and just take the time with the kids and have a great time. Because you're not responsible for day-to-day grind. You don't have to worry with things like discipline and any of that stuff. You just are there to enjoy them. Marina, why is it important that we spend time with our grandkids? I mean, what did the studies show?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's important for many, many reasons. They're saying it's helping grandparents live longer. There's a number of activities. Like, let's face it, when we're with our grandkids, we're active. There's no way we get away with sitting around in our little sofas and easy chairs, right? Like, you're on the move constantly with them, and you have to play games, and that keeps us mentally alert. We reduce our stress and loneliness. You just talked about having that kind of endorphin high that you get after you've been around your grandkids. I mean, I think any grandparent knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's just this feeling that just comes over us of happiness.
Yeah. Like my whole face will light up when I see the grandkids. It
Yeah.
just
And
seems like all the trouble in the world disappears. And that's such a wholesome, wonderful feeling to have.
and it's real. Not only is this an extensive study, and you can look it up. But it's also Harvard University also found that even after surgery, following an illness, being around your grandkids helps you heal faster. Think about that.
Wow. Well, that's really, really good to know. But Marina, there's a lot of people who don't have access to their grandkids. They have a bad relationship with the parent and with their son and daughter. So they don't want them seeing their grandkids. So what can those people do? A very close friend of mine, which I don't want to say her name, her daughter won't permit her to see her grandchildren. And she hasn't seen them in 10 years and she's devastated. There's nothing she can do. And she complains about it all the time to me. She's saying, like, what are my rights? I mean, I really want to see my grandkids, but my daughter won't permit it. I've never done anything criminally or anything. She just doesn't think I'm a good role model. So she doesn't want me around my kids. I mean, what is she to do? Do you have any suggestions?
Her story's not unique. I have a friend like that as well, and she has two grandchildren that she hasn't seen in 4 years because she had a falling out with her daughter. And sadly, the price that's being paid here isn't just with the grandparent, but it's also the grandchild because they're losing that very special connection and the stories that are being passed on from generations.
Mhm.
You know,
Do you know if there's any kind of right that she can go and
well,
deal with this?
yes. Adrienne, actually, there is. There are rights of your grandchildren, and they have the right to see their grandparents. But unfortunately, you are going to get along a lot easier and faster if you can actually make peace with your daughter or your son
Mhm.
and try to find it, maybe even a mediator to step in if the talks have broken down to the point where, you guys can't communicate anymore. I would
Mhm.
suggest to your friend that she looks at getting a mediator. And if that doesn't work, then that she would apply to the provincial court for a court order. And that will be looked upon as what is in the best interest of the child. And that is always, always that is always the paramount concern in any court
Mhm. Well,
proceeding is what's best for the child.
right. That's very good to know, and I'll pass the information to her. But also, Marina, there are grandparents whose families live like across the country or hours away, and they don't have access to it all the time. Maybe once every couple of times a year. So, what are
Well,
they to do?
I would say you've got this wonderful technology called Zoom and FaceTime. And sure, it's not as good as being there, but I think regular check ins. I know lots of grandparents who live thousands of miles away and they look forward to their Christmas real visits. But in the meantime, they're doing weekly check ins. They're sharing arts and crafts and stories online, and it's wonderful. Use the technology we have.
And then the other question, Marina, I really, really want to ask you is what happens if you don't have grandchildren? I know a couple of other of my friends don't have any grandkids. What are they to do?
I would say that what you can do is you can help your own children. Even when they're grown up, you can pop in and you can help them cook because being in contact with your children has the same health benefit as being in contact with your grandchildren. There's definitely a boost that you get, and it's a win win because your children are going to love it too.
Okay. That's good to know. And there's always aunts and uncles and nieces and cousins and all sorts that you can associate with. What about people who don't have children? Means no grandchildren. What are they to do?
Well, if they don't have children, they will be a lot more financially better off than those that have had children. Because I spend a fortune on my grandkids. I don't know about you, right? Come
No.
Christmas time or birthdays, get out the credit card, ching ching. But basically, the recommendation and the study has found that those who had no children but got involved with their community and became supporters to different organizations. In other words, got out there, got involved with their community, volunteered. Think at the heart of all this is doing something that matters, being involved in something and participating in a sense, it builds a sense of community, gives you purpose. And I think that that is a good thing, not just for the community, but for aging well.
Exactly. And I also like to point out for people who don't have grandkids or kids, there's always pets. Now, interacting with pets has shown to lower your stress hormone like cortisol and increases your hormone serotonin and dopamine, which is responsible for good mood, reduces blood pressure, and has all sorts of benefit. Get a pet or volunteer at your local shelter.
Absolutely. Now, I do have to throw in the caveat here that the study looked at grandparents who helped out occasionally with babysitting. They did not look at grandparents who were the primary caregivers. And I do know a few situations where the grandparent has become the primary caregiver for their grandchildren through unfortunate circumstances. And sadly, that causes an additional stress to the grandparent and it does not translate into a better health or a better aging experience for them.
No, that's an unfortunate situation, and hopefully most of us will not have that or don't have that.
No, and if you have a friend or somebody that you do know is raising children and they're older, help them out if you can. Even a couple hours here and there
Mhm.
is huge. They need your support.
Excellent. So, interacting with your grandkids, interacting with your children, interacting with your pets, anything of those are beneficial. to your health.
I think there's a lot about just playing. Because, right, when we're with our grandkids, do we not? Is we play?
We play, yes. We forgot how to play when we get older. So that's the point, Marina. When you're with grandkids or when you're with children, you play. Playing is fun.
What is the most common thing you hear from your grandkids? Grandma, grandma, come play with me.
Yeah. So let's play. Let's play with our grandkids. And if you don't have grandkids, go see your friend who has them. Or go play with your pets or take your dog for a walk. Go down to the shelter, interact with the animals.
Let's go play.